What's up, guys? It's David the Smash Fan here with another episode from Chimino Podcast, and with me we got Japorion.
What up, people? Hey.
And it's been a while, but we're doing our reviews for My Hero Academia, Chapter 317. I believe it's called Scars, Blood, and Mud. I believe it's a rough translation. I'm asking you, Japorion, because I don't know.
I'm gonna say yes. I don't remember the title at the moment. I just care about the content because it's actually has been a pretty good chapter.
Yeah, the whole everything that's been happening in My Hero Academia the past few chapters have been a huge change in tone. And I honestly think there are going to be some people who are going to be, they're either going to really like this or they're really not going to like this based on what happened in this chapter and what, because there are some heartbreaking things that you saw here, and it just, at least to me, I was like, dang, like this is not going the way that we were thinking. And again, it all relates to everything that happened with All Might and what All Might has said to Deku, and then what All For One has said to Deku. Like, there's so many parallels in this, and it's crazy. So let's go ahead and let's start with the summary of what happened. So Japorion, kind of give us what happened in this chapter, and then we'll discuss.
All right, so in this particular chapter, it always starts with all the remaining heroes trying to give us an exposition of what's currently happening in the world, how they're able to escape an explosion of a setup that All For One has set up. So in this chapter, they explain how it's affecting all the heroes and how they're trying to figure out what to do next and trying to protect Deku. Because I know they all know that he's being targeted, and they're also trying to be careful of what the media is trying to do to cover and get to that particular information. They're getting really close, so they're trying to avoid that. But they also talk about the repercussions, and that have some heroes decided to not be heroes anymore because of the attention and all the media that they're getting, which is kind of sad. So, particularly on that, they talk about what happened. And then that leads to Deku exploring and trying to find more about All For One. And his interaction with him and All Might. You can actually see how much Deku has grown and what his behavior is like at the moment. Which makes it a really cool chapter. So it does talk a little bit about that. I don't know if you want to add anything else from that, Dave.
Well, this chapter just kind of goes off the deep end in terms of like what's really happening to these heroes, because one of the heroes that they talk about and Endeavor talks about is Death Arms and how he retires, and it shows these 6 panels of him basically just saying like, I can't do this anymore, we have no rest, and every time I get one compliment, we have like 10 or whatever how many other negative criticisms about what they do, and they never stop. And it ultimately gets to them, and they're like, I can't do this anymore, and they leave. And this is like happening to like all these heroes that even we know about. Some, like in the beginning, there were heroes that we didn't know, but now these are ones that we've known about for quite a bit. A lot of the top heroes obviously are still there, and they're helping out, like Best Genius. We have Mount Lady, we have Kamui Woods, and all there. And you can see like this is where, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, where when I was reading this, it was reminding me of Stain, where Stain back when he was introduced, he was talking about how the hero society is like oversaturated, and that there aren't true heroes, and that heroes are supposed to do the right thing regardless of like what people's opinions are, what how they're looked at. They just try to do the right thing. And the interesting thing about this is, I think everyone has a breaking point, but this is really sifting like people who will do anything they can to still be a hero, to be like the symbol for good, and those who really at the end of the day can't hack it. Like it's really interesting because it everything that like the world that Stain wanted, it's kind of happening now, because of just like this cynical side that people have now for heroes, and it's just showing people showing people that there are heroes that they were there, they liked it because they're doing good stuff, but like ultimately at the end of the day, like if people's like opinions on them change, um, it's gonna affect them, and there's gonna be less and less, and that's what we've seen. And so that's like one big thing that we saw. The other thing is, and this is the second half of the chapter, is the change in Deku and what he is, because all of the way that he's drawn now, with his hood. So for the most part, like we haven't seen him with his hood up, right, with the ears and everything. But now that's the way he's seen, and the way that he's drawn is very gritty, and it's reflective of how he's feeling. Because at the last chapter, we got this taunting from All For One, and he's basically saying like, I'm coming for you, like you're next. And this last chapter, it triggered Deku, and so now he's like, I don't know how you explain, like what do you think's like going on in his mind like right now? Like something just snapped in him.
Well, the way that I see it, first of all, I gotta point out that it does appear that the pace has grown extremely fast. I was not expecting to, like at the beginning of this chapter, to be just them gathered together talking about this. I was expecting that it will be like some kind of follow-up. So I was really shocked to hear that much of a pace step, I guess. It can become a little faster. But what I was going to say, I think when it comes to Deku, I think he is carrying all the responsibility. He feels like if he doesn't do it, people are going to die. And it's taking over to the point of no rest and not be able to enjoy life. I think that he feels like there's a lot of danger, and it feels like it is his responsibility because he was given the power that All Might had to protect people. And it's in a way it's kind of cool because you actually get to see the growth of Deku as a character, but at the same time, I feel like he is feeling really guilty and trying to carry all of this all by himself. That is gonna affect him in a way, and is going to be a point that he is going to regret the choices that he's made.
Yeah, and like you said, you can see that he's still caring about Alma, because even like in the panels where you see him like defeat the second assassin fast, ultimately you don't even see the fight. He beat him, and he even tells All Might, I can go at 100% without sustaining any damage. Now that doesn't mean that I think he has to do something to like brace his arms or legs so that it doesn't hurt him. But at least at this point, like he can wield most of the power without any issues. But at the end, when this part hurt me, when All Might's you need to eat something, he's like, no, I can do this by my own. You can see this pain in All Might's face. Like, I'm supposed to be your mentor. I'm supposed to be the one that's supposed to guide you to when you can come out to the world and say, I'm here. And Deku just can't. He can't do. And All Might knows the responsibility. He said he knows the responsibility. But Deku still, at the very end, right before he's about to leave, he looks at All Might. The way that this is drawn again, it's a little bit less gritty, and the way that eyes are drawn like really spoke out to me. Like he has this softened look to tell All Might, don't worry about me, and because he doesn't want All Might to get involved, because All Might can't do anything. He can't fight. He can't really fend for himself too much because he doesn't have his power anymore. And before Deku leaves, like he wanted to tell him like, don't push yourself too hard, like you need to take a break and all, but he wasn't able to say anything. And you see, and this is the part that hurt me, you see him trying to reach out to Midoriya, and then he trips, and you're like, oh my god. I felt so bad. I felt so bad for All Might, because to me it looked like he was losing a son, like he was losing someone so precious to him, and it was so heartbreaking to see.
I understand the point of Deku, like he's trying to protect, but it's getting to the point that he's getting with it. And when I think of this, I think of how Endeavor was at the very beginning. He had the mentality of being number one, because of that he did everything else. He didn't care too much. He did a lot of things that he wasn't supposed to. And I think that Deku's getting to that particular point, not because he really wants to, because he's really obsessed of protecting the people that he cares and he loves, so nobody else could be in trouble or damage. But the thing about this really makes me wonder, and the feeling that I got is, I feel like All Might is going to die. That's the feeling that I got. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like it's gonna get to that particular point that Deku will like snap out of it, and trying to realize that he needs help. I don't know, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, in one of the panels, he even I don't know. I think it's All Might talking, or he's having a memory, but you see the words that that Midnight, or not Midnight, what's his name? Night Eye told him, like, you're heading towards a gruesome demise, one so terrible that it cannot be put into words. And I think this was put there for a reason. Like, he saw demise, and he, like you said, he might die just because of what he's seeing, what's happening to Deku. And I think that'd be like the worst thing. Like, that could happen, but like, it's like we gotta understand, like, why did he put these words into him, into this panel, in this chapter, when he sees Deku leaving and saying, "I'm fine, don't worry about me." Like, there's something prophetic about this and what's gonna happen in the next few chapters, or in this arc. So I think you're right.
Because you definitely know that All Might feels the burden that Deku has at the moment, and I think he wishes he could do a lot more. I think it would be cool if we can explore a little bit about his mentality and all, but it really makes me wonder how far Deku is going to go in order to get through results. He's not like, I mean, he has a lot. His first year, second at the moment, and carry this burden already. I think it's too much for him, and they're gonna get to a point that it's gonna affect him not in a good way. He will eventually change, but who knows? I think this is what's cool about My Hero Academia, because it's blowing some of our expectations. You know how we mentioned before, oh yeah, there's gonna be a time skip, because that's how a typical show will be. And here's like, maybe not. Maybe they're showing a little bit more, something a little bit different, something unexpected, to be honest. Like, I was reading this particular part, or a particular arc. I was really surprised of how dark it got, and how it wasn't your typical My Hero Academia tournament arc or anything. That it's like, it got real, it got serious. So I think it's a point for Deku to grow up and push himself a little bit farther. But at the same time, I think that's going to cause some troubles in the future, per se, because of his actions and his desire to finish.
And ultimately, it shows in the final few panels. So we get this big reveal, two big reveals, I guess. The first one is that Stain is nearby. He's like standing around there, and he saw this interaction between All Might and Deku, and I don't know what he's thinking. If they don't show, he's not saying anything. You see him there in these different clothes, and he's just kind of licking his lips. I don't know what he's thinking. And then the last part, so this is the part where, like I said, everything's changing, because now you start hearing all these words and all these conversations of people talking about this person who's like going around, and he has multiple quirks, and they're talking about All For One's ability. And they say he's appeared to help us, but then they talk about his appearance, of what he's covered with. And the last thing that it says, that he doesn't look anything like a hero. And you see the drawing, and that drawing at the end of Deku is ominous. Like I said, they made him look like almost like a demon on here, because you see like black web like coming out of him, electricity. It is freaky, and so it's very ominous to everyone here.
And I gotta give them props to Araki on drawing this, because think about it, when you first saw Deku's costume, it looked really goofy. It looked, I don't know, you can make fun of it all you want, but the fact that the way that it's drawn here, it looked pretty cool. It looked very, very epic, but at the same time kind of dark and gritty, that this might not be regular Deku, that he has been affected. He has a lot of scars. I guess like the title of this chapter. Not only physical scars, but I think emotional scars, in order to bring peace as a responsibility of the hero that you are, and the job that you decide to follow.
Yeah, Horikoshi did a great job with the drawings and everything in this chapter. So I can't wait for the next the next chapters and see what's going on. So let's take the last like 2 minutes to kind of talk about what do you think's gonna happen now. What do you think the next chapters are gonna give us?
I think it would be cool to see a little more about the perspective of these students, because for the most part, you're seeing everything from the superheroes, Deku, but I would like to see what's happening at UA, see what they're planning to do and how is that affecting them. I think it will get there to a particular point, maybe not in detail, but maybe like a lot of people being sad about Deku doing this and being in danger. I can also see a lot of people stepping up in order to fulfill the sense of heroes, since a lot of heroes are retiring. I mean, there is a need for heroes to help on these difficult times. But, like, I also see like All Might having a big conversation with maybe Stain on what it's meant to be a hero, and what will Stain do, or what will happen with them next. But yeah, it is a possibility I see something happen to All Might that I wouldn't want, but I think it need to happen in order to have a character development. Because if you think about it, you haven't seen All Might as much. And I think the way that I think this is happening, I think Horikoshi is slowly trying to help us not have him as much. So when this happens, we won't be affected as much. Although we're probably going to be affected by it if that happens. But who knows? I mean, this is the cool thing about it. I mean, they can have something else or a different approach to this that we're not expecting. And if that happens, that'll be cool too.
Yeah.
But what about you? I want to hear that.
I honestly hope that they get Bakugo involved, mainly because I want to see what he's thinking of Deku's actions. Like, we don't know what he's thinking. Like, we know that he was like, getting mad, like, well, I gotta go help. I'm okay. I'm gonna go do this. Why isn't he awake? Kind of type of thing. So he was worried about Deku. I really want to see what he's gonna do now. It's gonna be interesting because, like I said, he's technically not a villain. He's not and I know I talked about being a vigilante, but technically he does have his license to do hero work. So it's not like he's breaking the law. But again, we don't know what the law is right now of what's going on. So I want to see what Bakugo is going to do and how he's going to get involved, because they have to include him. Now, the thing is, like, I know this is all Deku's thing, but they've made such a point to, like, have Deku be involved with, or not Deku, Bakugo be involved with Deku's improvement, development, and, sharing the secret and all that, that it would be a waste if they don't start including Bakugo in there. Like, my hope is that they're going to, the next chapter is going to be, like, more of, like, let's say it starts with, like, news, like, talking about Deku and stuff that he's done, and all the people in UA kind of watching this, and this getting under Bakugo's skin, and maybe having him leave school too, or have him somehow get involved with Deku and what he's doing. So that's what I'm gonna guess. It's gonna stray away a little bit from here. So we're not gonna go from Deku anymore. We're gonna go, like you said, we're gonna go to UA and see what's happening with them.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility that Todoroki will also be there. Because, this whole conversation in this chapter with Endeavor, she's trying to connect and trying to help, but Endeavor's like, no, you can't. I need to do this by myself. I can see him, like, Todoroki stepping in and, like, come on, tell me what's going on, right? We're supposed to be a family, right? So, stuff like that.
We'll see. Well, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and let us know what you think is going to happen. Tell us if you're excited about this, or maybe you have concerns. Maybe this isn't what you saw Deku turning into. Just want to hear about it in the comment section below. So, thanks for watching. This is David the Smash Fan.
This is Japorin, guys.
And this is Chibino Podcast.